Hi, this is the Creative Frugal Wonder Woman, and I am going to demonstrate how to make this adorable little slimline card. Most of those of you joining me have probably already purchased this kit that I provided for the Great Lakes Scrapbook event in June 2021. And so you should have already received your materials. So you would have gotten your stamped saying there, the pink sheets, the flower. It wouldn't be called frugal if I didn't punch those out together, right? The sequins to go inside of the flower. This paper here is from Dare to Be Artsy, so that's your background paper, and then your plain cardstock to go in the back, and then your base. And I've already went ahead and scored it for you, and you will notice that it is a hair longer on one side, and I like to do that. It makes it just easier to open the card. I don't know, it works out really well. I've cut the card at 7 1/4 by 8 1/2 and then used my score pal to score it, and it works on that line, and I like it. So anyhow, if those of you looking that might wonder, oh, she didn't center my card when she scored it, I did it on purpose. So and then also your envelope. These envelopes I just picked up at Hobby Lobby. I love the slimline cards. It's something a little bit unique, different, very trendy now. It doesn't cost any more for postage, so I just really like them. You should have received your Creative Frugal Wonder Woman specialty newsletter just for this event, and your step-by-step color sheet. So we are going to go ahead and get right to creating this adorable little card. Oh, and what did I forget? Oh, and of course your stamped image. And I went ahead and I've die cut that for you as well. So we're going to go ahead and set all the other items aside and use our instruction sheet to go ahead and color. So we're going to start with E00, and I'm just going to go ahead and color in all of her skin tone. Now for those of you that are new to the Creative Frugal Wonder Woman, you can go on my website, janmckee.com, and I'm in the process of changing a lot of it around, but go into the Creative Club. It is now free, and you can see my cards, my gallery, other videos that I've done, and like I said, I'm in the process of changing everything. A lot has happened this last month, and I've just had to make some changes. So anyhow, there is a little bit of her knee there and this leg showing. I love this stamp. This stamp set is from Picket Fence Studios, and they just offer some adorable little sets. You should have received the link to this set in your newsletter. So now we're going to take, E11, and we're going to just color where there would be the shadow coming down. So we do along our hairline. And then I add a little bit on her chin there. Come down, shadowing from her neck. And you can follow right along with the instruction sheet also. I'm hoping that's coming in clear. There we go. So if you're new to Copic, or it doesn't have to be Copic, you can use any alcohol-based marker to achieve this. I just happen to use Copic, so I know the color system and I can show you the different colors that I'm using. But if you are new to Copic and you would like to watch my basic or my Copic 101, feel free to go to the creative or janmckee.com and go to the Creative Club, and you can go ahead and download my instruction sheet and watch the video there too. So we just used RO2 and colored her cheeks. So step 2, we're going to go ahead and do her, to finish up step 1, now that we've done her skin tone and done the shading, we're going to go ahead back with our E00 and we're going to just blend all that in. And that just takes care of any harsh lines and makes it look more natural. Okay, now we're going to go to step 2, which we are using E97 first for her hair. And you're going to go ahead and just color all the base of her hair. Hope you guys are enjoying the beginning of summer, that things are letting up and any restrictions are starting to come off now with the pandemic. Things are starting to feel a little bit more back to normal. It is very hot here in Michigan, but I am not complaining. I enjoy the warm weather. So next we're going to take E99 and we're just going to create with E99 and E09 some low lights in her hair. So there's really no rhyme or reason. We're just going to go ahead and do some squiggles. She has, it looks to be some curly hair there. Again with the E09, just adding a little bit of color there. And then you're going to come back with E97 and blend it. And that's not going to, you're not going to get a true blend. It's going to just kind of mute those low lights and make it just look more natural. Fun. But we've added some definition or depth to her hair. Okay, so step 3, we're going to do her outfit and our B. And we're going to start with E11. And we're going to go ahead and do the B, his body, except for his little like collar. I left that white. I absolutely love using alcohol markers. They're so much fun and forgiving, and just I have been using Copics for many years, about 11 I think, and I just thoroughly enjoy using them. It just makes all your stamped images or your artwork really come to life. And once you get past, a lot of people are intimidated, and once you get past that and just start using them, and you'll gain some confidence. I really think that using watching my video on the basics, the Copic 101 or the Copic Basics, it just, and practice. It's going to really help gain that confidence to start using your markers more. That is the biggest thing that I hear, is people don't use them because they're afraid. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. They're easy to use, and you will just get so much satisfaction after creating something and just seeing what you've done. So now we're going to take E13 and we're going to create, what you're doing is you're creating a highlight by not coloring all of the initial first color that you've done. So we're going to create the low lights where there would be shading, and then leaving the highlighted area. And that's going to just give you that depth. And the shadowing and the shading that you desire with these markers. So by coming from the bottom and on the top, you can see them creating that highlighted area in the center. And we're just going to leave that. Come back with our third color. I typically use 3 different colors. This one is Y15, all in the same color family. So now I'm going to come back and just go around the edge a little bit. Come down here on his body. And on her dress. And then I'm not going as far with the Y15 that I used the Y13. So it's going to create more definition and depth there. So then you come back with your lightest color, which is Y11, and you just blend it all together. See there? And you're going to notice it's going to, once it dries, you're going to get a little bit different, lighter tone, but you can just see that depth in there. And it just adds so much, but it's so simple. Okay, we're on to step 4 already. Can you believe it? Step 4, it doesn't look like much. These colors are very, very light. We have BG0000. And we're going to just take and color our wings with that, and it's just adding just a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how I really dress up my wings in the end here. But I like to give them a little bit of color, but I want them to look kind of translucent. So I use BG0000 for the base, and then I come back with BV, which is your blue violet, and I go like where there would be some shadowing from behind her, maybe show, because the wing is in front of this wing, so we're going to add a little shadowing there. Again here, coming from behind. Same thing, this is the bottom wing. So we'll shade that one a little bit there. Maybe just go up the winged veined area. So just a little bit, just adding a little bit of color there. So next we're going to go in, now we're at step 5, and we're going to do all these flowers, this pretty pink. I love, this is my favorite of the pink colors, and I do use this often. You know what? I just realized I forgot. Rewind back to step 3. I totally forgot our cute little bee's cheeks. How could I forget that? We're going to come back with RO2. I deeply apologize for this, you guys, but RO2, and we're going to go ahead and add his little cheeks. They're just so adorable. And then I always like to mute that a little bit, so I'm going to come back with the Y11 there, and that softens that edge around that RO2. Okay, now back to step 5. This pink color family is my favorite. R81, it starts with rose pink, and we're going to go ahead and just do the bases of all the flowers in this picture. Whoops. There's just a little bit of that one there. And then the one on her dress. The next color is R83, and this one we're going to just, you don't want to do the whole thing, but come from the center of the flower and just, you want to leave the tips highlighted with the initial R81. So we're just adding about halfway up the flower. And these smaller ones, obviously, you're not going to see much, but in the end, those little details really stand out. And then the final color is R85, and for this one we're just going to do one little flick coming up the center, out from the center, and not all the way, just a little bit lighter. Now on these you might want to do a couple on this bigger flower, but you just want to do so a little bit less than the R83. So we're adding that deeper color right to the center, so it would naturally, that's how a flower would look. So with the R81 we're going to go ahead again and blend. Hope you guys are enjoying the Great Lakes Scrapbook event this year, or this month. So excited to be a part of it. I think we're doing 6 throughout the year, the virtual events, which is a lot of fun. The next part of step 5 is the leaves, and we're going to start with YG05 and color the leaves to our flower. And then the next one is YG07, and I just went from a leaf. Typically the outer edges of the leaf are lighter, so, and the veining is darker, so I just added a little bit of that. And with the YG09 we're doing very, very little. Just use very light-handed, the very, very end, teeny tiny point of your marker. And then for the final step, you're doing the YG05, we're blending it all. I think actually on some of them I didn't even blend it. I think I just left it. So that could be your choice in which you want to do. And then finally, we're doing step 6 is the honey in our honey pot. So we're going to start with Y21 and color all of the honey. So I did our little honey stir or honey dipper, I'm not sure what you call it. And the honey that's dripping there, and you can see the honey is all over the edge of our pot. and then the honey in our pot. So we're just getting the base down. And then we're going to add more detail with our darker colors. Okay, so we've got the base. Now we're going to create some depth. We're going to start with Y26. And by doing the depth, remember we want to leave the initial color, the Y21, don't color over all of it because we want to create that highlight. And mostly we're going to create that in the center of our pot here. So we're gonna, it's gonna, I would imagine, be a little bit darker around the edge. Remember to use the detail of your stamps when coloring too, because that's going to give you cues of where to be light or dark. And now on the dipper, I went ahead and I just went kind of every other one. And then we're going to do Y28. And you want to do those same areas that you did with the 26, but not as much. Again, using the little marks on our stamp to know where you need more shadowing. And for this one, I went ahead and I added one more color. How could I not? This is Y38. It's actually called Honey. So I thought, well, I guess I need to add this one then. Remember, there is no right or wrong. You can mix these colors however you want. And that's the fun of using Copic markers. You'll see I typically throughout my videos do use the same color family, but every once in a while I like to mix it up a bit. So we're going to add a little bit of this and just make our honey a little bit richer. And then you're going to come back with the lightest color again and blend it all together. Remember, if you get out of the lines and you want, you can always use your blender and push that color right back in to where you want it to be. Remember, it's like your bulldozer, as I teach in my 101 class. So many people think that it's an eraser and treat it as an eraser, and it's not. So, okay. Remember, also I didn't mention having some sort of plain cardstock underneath. You don't want a slick surface directly underneath because you're going to go through, your markers are going to go through your Copic paper, and when it does, if you don't have something to absorb it, it's going to come back in and bleed right back into your paper. So make sure you have a scratch piece underneath you. Now, I do not have the B00 sketch. I have it in the traditional, or the, I forgot what it was called, the regular Copic. And so I'm using this one. I always prefer sketch markers because I like the brush tip, but I really want to use this color for my background. So I am using B00 to just color in all of the background. Oh, forget here in her dress. I'm so used to coloring this stamp before I die cut it, but I wanted to have it just as you guys are working with. So here's a little spot there. So the dies that I used for this card, this circle, and then the flower and the there's a coordinating doily like the pink that we're going to put this on is from Waffle Flower. I'm totally in love with Waffle Flower stamps and dies. Very nice product, wonderful storage that they come in. So I know this is a little bit tedious coloring all this in, but it really is going to make this pop. I just keep turning my circle. Now I've gotten to this bigger part, I can go ahead and use the chisel end. Alright, just winding down here. Oh, I did forget to also mention that I stamped this Honey Deer stamp set with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. That is all I use for my Copic. It just that and the Copic paper. I just have that's the best thing I've found. I've tried others and I've just not been happy with the outcome. So now when if you have some lines there, you can go ahead and go over this again, and that should be a little bit darker. Okay, so now we have her colored. So now let's go ahead and assemble the card together. I went ahead, and the reason I went ahead and put the flower in there is because it didn't matter that I was cutting it out of the center, because I'm just going to be covering it up anyhow. So we just covered that up. You guys really, you know how to put these cards together. You're smart cookies. That's our envelope. So here's our base. We're going to line up our solid color and then put our honeycomb. And then I used my foam tape and I popped this up a bit. And then, oops, well, you have a piece of the yellow to background that. And then again, I pop dotted my flower here and added my sequence on top of that in the center. Now when I did the sequence, I also used, I made sure to put the foam tape right behind that center. so that my sequence stood up. Otherwise, you're going to find it falling down in. And don't worry that your scalloped circle goes over the base, because it still fits in our envelope. So you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this honey deer stamped image slimline card, and I've thoroughly enjoyed having you. I appreciate your support in my endeavors, and I look forward to seeing you over on my page at janmckee.com. Have a blessed day. Bye now.